Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping right back into the next phase of a truly magical journey. If you've been following along, you know we left off with an absolutely incredible, inciting incident. Well, now we're diving straight into Story 2, The Gilded Map and the Fox's Trail. We're going to explore exactly how our protagonist, Ira, actually processes her new reality, reunites with her mysterious woodland guide, and uncovers an ancient artifact that is directly tied to her newfound power. Let's get right into it. I want to start off by throwing this question out to you. What happens when a magical adventure meets a perfectly packed peanut butter sandwich? It sounds a little funny, right? But honestly, it's brilliant. We're taking this awe-inspiring, world-shifting reality of sudden magic and just slamming it right up against the most mundane, relatable, everyday human behaviors. It completely grounds the fantasy. It makes the extraordinary feel accessible. And it tells us a whole lot about who Ira really is. Now, think about a normal morning. For Ira, that usually means hitting snooze 3 times and letting out at least one dramatic sigh just to drag herself out of bed. I mean, I think most of us can relate to that, right? But today, no way. She wakes up before the alarm even goes off. She sits straight up in bed. And this simple contrast shows us that a really profound internal shift has already happened. The magic hasn't just changed the world around her, it's fundamentally changed her baseline state. That everyday lethargy is totally gone, and it's replaced by this sudden, undeniable sense of purpose. Section 1. The magic still works. Let's look at how she confirms this inciting incident. Okay, so when Iris sits bolt upright in bed, she is instantly hit by 3 very specific memories. The forest, the fox, and the spark. These are basically the anchors of her new reality. Now, waking up early is highly suspicious to her. But she does it because these 3 vivid elements are just demanding her attention. They are the undeniable proof of yesterday's events, and they prompt her to immediately figure out if what she experienced was real or just some wild dream. To test her reality, she carefully wiggles her fingers under the blanket. And we get this beautiful sensory moment. A tiny flicker of gold pops right off her fingertips, exactly like a shy little firefly. Ira gasps and whispers 2 absolutely crucial words. Still works. You can feel the immense relief there. The magic wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a hallucination. It's real. It's right there. And it is quite literally in her hands. That confirmation is exactly what propels her into action for the rest of the day. Section 2. Packing like a pro. This brings us to a highly relatable part of the story. So how exactly do you prepare to walk into a magical forest to meet a supernatural fox? Well, if you're Ira, you pack snacks like an absolute professional. She literally takes inventory. Crackers, apple slices, a peanut butter sandwich, and, after some serious thought, 2 chocolate biscuits. It's such an everyday, mundane task. But by focusing on the crackers and the apple slices, Ira gets the sense of control over an otherwise extraordinary situation. She might not fully understand how magic works yet, but she definitely knows how to pack a solid lunch. But then we get this thought that just elevates the whole scene. Heroes shared chocolate. This is so brilliant. By making the conscious, totally serious decision to bring chocolate specifically to share, Ira isn't just a passive participant anymore. She is stepping up. She's getting ready to act like the heroes she admires. She is fully embracing the adventure. Section 3. Following the fox. Here, Ira officially crosses the threshold into deeper magic. She returns to the woods, and she's actually oddly proud that the forest waited exactly where she left it. And I absolutely love her greeting. "Hi," she tells the trees politely. "I brought snacks." The forest's response is immediate, too. The leaves rustle like quiet applause, welcoming her right back. Just moments later, the fox bursts onto the scene like an orange comet, skidding to a stop with its tail wagging with way too many feelings at once. It's this wonderfully joyful, dynamic reunion. Ira is just beaming because the fox remembered her. And when she unpacks that professional adventurer's lunch, the fox's personality truly shines. The apple slices sniffed suspiciously. Definitely not interested. But the crackers? It accepts those as if they were absolute royal treasure. It's this incredibly lighthearted, charming exchange that really cements their partnership before the real journey begins. Because right after they finish snacking, the fox grabs her sleeve and tugs her deeper into the woods. As the fox leads her deeper, always glancing back to make sure she's following, by the way, you can literally feel the tension start to escalate. First, the light grows greener, which signals they're leaving the normal world behind.
Next, the air starts humming louder. It's this auditory cue that the environment itself is alive and totally charged. Finally, that warm buzz returns to Iris' fingertips. Her magic is actually reacting to the environment around her. This step-by-step buildup creates a fantastic sense of anticipation.
Section 4. The Gilded Map. They arrive on a mysterious circle of stones. So, what do they find in the dead center of these stones? It's something flat, something pale. Ira blinks, and she realizes a very simple truth. Paper doesn't grow here. I mean, in this ancient, deeply natural, highly magical forest, finding an old, curled-up piece of parchment is completely unnatural. It stands out instantly as an artifact of real importance. When she tilts her head and looks a bit closer, those messy lines suddenly resolve into something she recognizes. It's a map of the forest, and it's covered in these intricate, enchanting symbols, lines twisting like vines, spirals, stars, and even these tiny, delicate drawings of mushrooms in streams. It is a beautifully handcrafted guide to the magical world she just stumbled into. But actually, it's the very last detail on the map that changes everything. Right at the very bottom of the parchment, a single mark glows faintly gold. The exact same color as her power. Literally the exact same color as that shy firefly that popped from her fingers that morning. This is the literal connection between the map's ancient magic and Ira's own internal spark. It means she wasn't just in the right place at the right time. The magic matches her. The map matches her. Totally overwhelmed by this realization, Ira just whispers, "Is this for me?" And she actually gets her answer. Not in words, but through the environment itself. The fox sits down right beside her and slowly wags its tail. And the entire forest seems to just exhale around her. It's this profound, quiet moment where the environment itself confirms her destiny. In that exact moment, Ira realizes the adventure hadn't just spontaneously started yesterday. It had been waiting. It was waiting for her to arrive, waiting for her to wake up, and honestly, waiting for her to bring the snacks. Which brings us to the end of today's explainer. And I want to leave you with one final question. The adventure had been waiting. Are you ready to follow the map? Iris certainly is, and I hope you are too, because this story, it's only just beginning. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible journey with me today. I cannot wait to see where the map takes us next. Keep learning, keep exploring, and definitely keep your chocolate biscuits ready.